Hi, and welcome to Underground Video Network's Behind the Counter. Mike here, and as with me always is Richard.
Hello. On this episode, we're going to be introducing a new podcast to this series. It's coming up later.
Also going to be talking about this hot topic in comic book industry still is the new DC.
And then also, a big anniversary going on today as we tape this. We'll talk about that.
And finally, we're going to be talking a little bit about our coverage of the Detroit FanFare Comic Convention.
And stay tuned. Hello everybody, now we're back. We want to introduce to the UVN website another podcast. It's our buddies Bill, Frank, and Brant is going to bring their Raymond Power Hour, but it's coming back a little different now. It's going to become the Raymond, the Ultimate Podcast. And we're not sure exactly when we're going to start this. Sometime after, I think, after the StarCon convention, when we talk things out, we'll get things going there and find out exactly how we're going to do this. I know Bill just announced today about it, and it's going to be a bi-weekly, very similar to what was seen on CR, or heard on CR, I should say, not seen. So I hope this is going to be a great new addition. I know we're starting to experiment with the podcast a little bit. We've had Decapitated Dan. We've been running that for a couple months now, and I think we've been getting good response. I know even you had talked about maybe even trying to go into the audio only direction a little bit too. So we're not sure what we're going to do. This is something new, and
big things are coming.
Yeah, we just think this is the next step for us.
And it's almost like Raymond Power Hour is getting a reboot, and we're pulling them into the UVN universe.
There we go.
There we go.
It's a reboot.
It's a reboot. Speaking of reboots, the hot topic still is the DCU rebooted universe, or
whatever it is,
however you want to put it, because it seems like some books are getting the reboot, some books aren't getting the reboot, but the point of the story is it's still out there, it's still got the fire underneath it, it's still the hot topic, people are still talking about it.
And there's new people coming in.
New people, yes.
I was talking to a bunch of different shop owners and stuff, and they're saying they're actually drawing new people in, starting to buy, and they're buying other stuff other than just the 52. So this is probably maybe a good thing, I don't know.
I think it's still working. I think the motivation behind the whole thing is starting to pay off. I have personally gone out and bought a couple issues for friends who aren't, comic book people, expecting maybe, oh, that was a good story, but I've actually gotten, that was really good. What else do you recommend? And I've actually had people tell me that they've come into the local comic book store on their own to pick up, new books.
And it's catching over on Marvel's side too.
Yes.
Because Marvel is going to be doing a big experiment with the Avenging Spider-Man #1 coming out. They're actually going to be offering a free free digital download of the book to go along with it. So it'll probably be the largest digital comic book distribution ever. Yeah. For now.
For now, yeah.
So that's that. And also, like I was saying, today is a very special day in the comics history, even though it's not happening.
Yeah, this month marks what would have been the 15-year anniversary of the marriage of Lois and Clark.
Sad.
Sad. You almost wish that Marvel or DC, come on, reboots, people get married, they're not married anymore, that DC would have maybe postponed
until after
the
some
reboot.
kind of special.
And yeah, or you know what, even give us a one-shot.
Or a graphic novel.
Or a graphic novel, yeah.
Just like what they just did with the Teen Titans. Yes. That came out just last week or the week before there. That was a really cool book. I mean, it took place in the 80s continuity of the Titans. Right. It wasn't something totally different or something. It shoehorned right in with the series. Yes, it did. So I don't know. It's pretty interesting.
So you know what? From both of us, new universe be damned. Happy anniversary, Lois and Clark.
Yeah, definitely. And now we're going to take a little break here. Peanut was running around Cincinnati Comic Expo and interviewed a bunch of upcoming creators and artists, and this is one of them.
We are here with artist extraordinaire Chris Ehnot. Hello, sir.
Hey, how are you doing?
All right. When did you first start drawing?
I started drawing when I was about 7 years old. And I started working on looking at references from DC to Marvel, and then once Image broke out, I started going into there and looking at all the main artists from that.
Who's your main influence, like as far as today, like 2011's artists or crop of artists?
I'm liking a lot of the guys who are about my age right now, like Francis Manipul, Talent Caldwell. And
Like Randy Green?
yeah, I like Randy Green. He's a little bit older, but he's still in that newer generation.
Got that same style.
Correct. Yeah, I like that a lot. As far as else in the modern, I'm starting to like a lot more Jim Lee now than I did in the early 90s because his style has changed significantly and he's got a little bit better proportions. That, you know, he started pushing a little bit more of a realism to his actual work. So
Not everybody's doing the Jim Lee clone thing like you had to do in the 90s because of all the...
No, and that's something that I've actually enjoyed in the last 10 years, I would say, because once you got past the 90s, artists have started to move away from each other to a point where the art itself was being influenced by other cultures such as Japanese manga, to, you know, European, you know, going a little bit back to the classical eras. Anatomy has been changing over the years, that instead of the very long elongated bodies that you're starting to now see,
They moved away from steroids.
they moved away from steroids.
Except baseball.
And yeah, except it. But more importantly, I think the nice thing I like about the art in general, it's moved towards a more realistic approach as far as proportions go, and yeah.
Who do you have coloring your stuff, or do you color your stuff as well?
I do my markers myself, but then I do some of my coloring. A couple of my people that I use is Eddie Swan, Sean Ellery. They're both out in Australia. They're both doing it as a freelance, but Eddie Swan is probably going to be up and coming. He's working on different projects right now that are possibly going to have a little bit of breakthrough. The main guy that I use a lot is Thomas Mason. He currently is a colorist for Marvel. What he's doing right now is the Jim Lee re-colored versions of the X-Men that are coming out in
Wasn't a poster they had showed of it, or a...
San Diego when they released it, but he's been working on it for about a year now. So he's going to have the whole issue out coming in November, I believe. But he was able to do a couple of my pieces. As you can see here, he did the mermaid coloring on that one. And so I didn't know what else to say after that.
Well, I guess I have to say, what would be like your right now, if there's a comic book movie that has not been made right now, what right now today would you want to be made, you know, with what they can do now with all the money that they have?
For a long time, I've always said I'd like to see Fathom be made into a movie because, and whether it would be Megan Fox or another actress, I don't really care who, but because of the intricacy in this film itself, from how Michael Turner created the storylines, it made a lot of sense in a way that it could have been a realistic approach. Right. You know, everything he did from the beginning of the Fathom and creating it at Top Cow, I believe that he could have easily turned it into a film, and to this day I still want that to be a film because the story has become so involved that there's now, you know, 3 major volumes to it. They're already in the 4th volume. There's so much background that they can use to weave a more involved and in-depth plot into a 2 to 3 hour film.
Now, who would you have direct this epic?
As much as they've talked about James Cameron, I would move away from that. I would like to see Peter Jackson, because the way he's approached filmmaking in general on every you know, whether it was Lord of the Rings to The Hobbit he's doing now, from
Now you need to pop up that really bad movie made, Meet the Feebles or whatever.
I think he would be a really interesting director because he goes really involved in the depth of the characters, and he pushes himself as far as wanting to tell the story, and he's not afraid of making it a little bit longer to actually get you to involve into the characters, the plot, and more importantly, to make a damn movie that's good.
That's awesome. I tell the people your website to get a hold of you, to do commissions and whatnot.
If you're interested in doing commissions or you would like to see more of my work, go ahead and go to cbay@deviantart.com. That's CBEI@deviantart.com.
All right. Thank you very much.
No problem.
We're back, and a couple weeks ago we had the pleasure of going up to Detroit to see the Detroit FanFare comic book convention.
And as you might see, we have brought on a handsome young man. This is my nephew Corey. This is his first time on the show, and not only is it his first time on the show, Detroit FanFare was his very first time ever going to a comic book convention of any kind. Corey, as a first-timer, what was your impression of going to not only a comic book convention, but Detroit FanFare?
My first time, I would say, was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bunch of different types of things. Being my first time to a con, I figured like it was just going to be nothing but Batman and Superman, just all the main stories. But what it came down to was just independent artists. That's what I seen, and I liked all their artwork and what they were doing, and it was a pretty good thing for me.
Was there anything about that particular con that kind of, jumped out at you, as a first-timer?
Seeing some of the celebrities from different movies and everything like that, that was good. And seeing one of the co-creators from Ninja Turtles, that was awesome. Just
what was your impression of seeing some of the cosplayers? Because if you look at our website and the pictures, you had a picture taken with a pretty big celebrity, if you will.
Oh, RoboCop?
RoboCop, yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was just seeing everybody walking around with costumes on and just enjoying the day. It was awesome.
Cool.
And speaking of my first time being there, wasn't this your first time dressing up?
It was. Me and Richard have been covering conventions for years, and I've told him year after year, one of these years I'm going to do it, I'm going to break down, I'm going to go in costume just to see what it's like. This year I got to go as the Doctor, which if you watch the show, you know how much I love Doctor Who.
Yeah, it's going to be on episode 199.
199, you get to see this as the Doctor. The 11th Doctor, Fez included. It was incredible for me. It was the first time that I actually had people come up to me, asking me to have a picture taken with them. And I really did. I understand now why people go in costume. It's just a fun vibe. And I can guarantee you it probably won't be the last time you see me in costume, and it won't be the last time you see the Doctor behind this camera.
Sounds good. And speaking of cons, there's other ones coming up in the months. I want to mention Mid-Ohio.
Mid-Ohio's coming up, yeah.
That's coming up at the end of the month on like the 22nd, 23rd of October. So stay tuned for that.
Okay. Back here with Underground. We're here with Aaron. How are you doing, sir?
Good to meet you.
All right. Tell us how you got your start into getting into drawing.
Oh, I've been drawing ever since I was about 4, but I just started painting in 2009. So all this stuff's pretty new to me right now.
So all your paintings is hands-on, you draw it and then go full?
Exactly. All paintings, drawings, every different style.
All right, well now, who's the person that's your artistic influence? Who's the person, if they're drawing or painting a book and stuff, who do you go by and I gotta have?
I got you. Definitely Jim Lee, Alex Frost, Neil Adams, all those guys. Huge influence on who I really look forward to as an artist.
I see you loving Batman a lot, so I'm loving that. All right, how do you feel about the new Batman coming out?
I'm incredibly excited.
Everybody's bashing it like crazy on the internet, and they ain't even seen it yet.
Haters
are just. So
I heard it's gonna be darker than the last one, which I don't even know how you can do.
As long as Bane be Bane how we knew he is, I'm cool with it, so.
Break his back.
That's just horrible.
That's what we want.
Kids, that don't happen in case we're spoiling it. Oh wow, at a loss. As far as movies today and stuff, what? Because every comic book is being made into a movie. What would you want next that hasn't been done yet?
Ooh, that's a good question. Everything is pretty much already out. I guess you just have to hope that they get it right. Like the new Amazing Spider-Man movie. Because I enjoyed the first ones, and I'm not sure if we were ready for a reboot, but...
Not so fast or quick, but...
Exactly. I guess maybe a Justice League would be next after Avengers.
No, that's about like $400 million you just said, right?
I know.
It didn't even come out of his mouth, Justice League. It came $400 million. And only got back maybe 100.
Exactly.
Tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. If you do commissions, you know, what's your websites and art sites?
I do commissions. I'm mainly on Facebook under Aaron Lambert Art. So type in that keyword, you got me on Facebook.
Popping up right here. Sir, thank you very much.
No problem.
Sweet.
Thank you guys.
And now it's time for this episode's Pick of the Week.
Yeah, and I'm going to start out, probably won't surprise you what I'm going with. I'm going with Avengers 1959. This is a retrofitted book that kind of happens.
Yeah.
It was neat. Howard Chaykin is one of my favorite creators. I mean, he's doing the whole book, he's doing the art, he's doing the ink, he's actually doing the story. This is really good because it takes place back in the 50s. The commie stuff has happened, and
you get that Cold War element. And
this takes place right after the Atlas characters got together as the Avengers.
Oh, okay.
They're not really acknowledging that quite, but they are acknowledging that. It's kind of weird because Atlas...
It's a little tongue-in-cheek.
Well, Atlas is now in the modern-day Marvel Universe, but yet they're still back in the old days, too. There's a lot of flashbacks to that. But this all takes place where Sergeant Fury puts together a team that went after the Red Skull and some stuff, and that was in the New Avengers. Well, this takes place right after that, and it introduces... or reintroduces the blonde Phantom.
Oh, really?
And she's actually a spy. And it takes place like a 50s style spy, 56, early 60s type spy, the James Bond, and the women spy, you know how they do little difference back in the day and stuff. So I loved his take on that, and introducing her into the storyline was great.
Right.
And it was one of Fury's operatives. And Fury just knows you know how Fury always has all these people come in and stuff, and he still does it then, he does it now. It's all the same, and it's a great pickup point. You really don't need those other issues to know exactly what's going on, but it does help because the first segment is them wrapping that storyline up.
Right.
And if you get a chance, this is from Marvel Comics.
Cool. Before I go into my pick of the week, I want to mention real quick.
Oh no, not Superman 1.
No, Superman 1 did come out this month, and I did enjoy it. It was an excellent book. Critics bashed it for being a little wordy. I actually enjoyed it because it gave a little bit more of a deposition into the character and the new Superman's universe.
It's George Perez.
It's George Perez. He's a very dialogue-y...
I had to throw that in there. I love George Perez, too.
Perez is a very dialogue-y guy, and it seems like a lot of people who had bad things to say about it, that's what they commented on. Me, I like the fact that they went a little bit different direction with it. It would have been easy to have him throwing the car and doing, all that stuff, but we got very good backstory into where the new Superman of this universe is at now. Okay. And I enjoyed it a lot. But it's not my pick of the week.
No.
My pick of the week actually was Aquaman #1.
Wow.
Yeah. I got 2 words for you when it comes to Aquaman #1, Jeff Johns. That man is a beast.
Yeah.
He is, you know what, honestly, if we could clone Jeff Johns and have him write every book in the DC universe, I'd be more than happy for that. Jeff Johns, I think, is most famous for his being able to take any character, reboot them, and put them right front and center of the DC universe again. Green Lantern, Flash, and he did it. He worked his magic with Aquaman #1. The thing I liked most about Aquaman #1 was the fact that they pretty much acknowledge, pretty much flat out, that Aquaman is kind of a joke when it comes to the comic book community.
He's been that way.
He's always been. I mean, they flat out, during the book, somebody flat out asks him, what's it like being nobody's favorite superhero? He's been the running joke of the superhero community since
the 70s.
70s. They even mentioned in the book, Saturday Night Live, different sketch shows have always used Aquaman as the whipping boy. This book not only acknowledges it, puts it front and center, and that's not the reason why I like the book. Jeff Johns really did take Aquaman and make him an interesting, viable character that I enjoyed reading. And if you ask me what books best symbolizes what DC had in mind for the reboot, you had Justice League, You have Action Comic Books. This one, to me, damn near sums it up. They were able to take a character that nobody cared about. Sorry, I mean, if there's one or two of you Aquaman fans out there, don't swing your trident at me. But they did. They were able to take a character that nobody cared about, and they made me care about him. I am looking forward to issue 2. And for the first time ever, Aquaman is now a name on my pull list.
Wow.
So if you get a chance to, I'd also like to mention, tying into the Aquaman, why the DC Universe's reboot is a success. Because it gets people talking. It's also a reason why me being pro-book, not so much digital, was the fact that I came into the comic book store, got my books, completely walked over this book, just didn't even think about it. But it was the word of mouth in the store, the owner, people who were just walking around who happened to pick it up, telling me, this is the book for you. You've got to read this book. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. And it's that interaction at the comic book store that I love.
The water cooler.
The water cooler talk, yeah. You know, you just don't get that on digital. You know, you might have, 30 comments underneath this or that. I don't care. It's when somebody comes up to me and says,
Yeah, but those comments are crazy.
oh
Have you
yeah.
ever read the stuff?
Firsties.
Deadpool. Deadpool lives. Deadpool. That's all I see.
Click, 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 don't care. It's that word of mouth, that water cooler talk that got me to buy Aquaman #1, and I've approached the people that recommended it to me and thanked them for it. And to me, that's what collecting comic books is all about, interacting with people who read comic books, the give and take, and I love that that's become the forefront of the DC Universe right now is the water cooler talk. Everybody, I like this, I didn't like that.
It's just like I texted back and forth with Gary about stuff coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had texted me right away about the new Huntress when it came out.
Yeah.
You know, it was crazy, you know, and then about Batman stuff, you know, this
Yep.
it's all taken off.
Yeah, it really has. And I think it rolls over into the other comic book communities too, where you get people in for this book, it gets them looking around. You know, they might have come in because somebody recommended Justice League #1, but they walk by and they see some really cool art on the cover of X-Men. It's
Or Dark Horse.
or Dark
Image.
Horse comic books, Image comic books. The point is it's getting people back into the stores.
It's busy.
It's busy. It really has, and we can attest firsthand. It seems to me like because we shoot here in the comic book store,
And there's a lot of people right
and
now
there's a
in
lot
the
of people
store.
here. We've been shooting for years. Not that the comic book stores haven't been busy, but they're busier,
That's cool.
and we're fans of it. Love or hate titles, it's getting people talking about comic books again, and we are all for that.
And don't forget to update your pull list.
Yes, update your poll list, because by the time this airs, a lot of issue #2s are already starting to surface.
yeah.
I can't believe it. Issue 2s are already starting to surface. Books that I've been so excited about the #1s. I turn around, I was like, #2's out already? Yes,
Yeah, it's been pretty fun. And another convention we want to spotlight next weekend, October 8th, is going to be StarCon 2011. This is the Twilight Star Studios' second anniversary party. It's going to be held down at Main Street Comics. We'll be down there doing some coverage. And speaking of the Raymond podcast, we're actually going to shoot a new Geek Street, which will be #4.
Yep.
So everybody stay tuned for that, and I think this has been a pretty cool episode.
Yes, it has. And stay tuned. As always, you can check our website for information on the conventions, dates, times, locations, and also for photos that we've taken at a lot of the conventions. A lot of the stuff that we videotape at conventions, that's only the tip of the iceberg. Go to our site, check out the pictures.
And our Facebook page.
And our Facebook page.
That's where a lot of our stuff's stored too, because I like using the interactive. And I'm telling you right up front, start interacting, because I think in November something special is going to be happening through us and Facebook, and it's nothing really to do with Facebook. It's all us. Maybe contests are coming.
Spoilers.
Stay tuned.